Imagine waking up on your 5th wedding anniversary, only to find your wife gone, your living room trashed, and a pool of her cleaned-up blood on the kitchen floor. Even worse, every single piece of evidence points directly at you. Welcome back to the Reader Room. After exploring the dark secrets of the silent patient and Verity, today we are stepping into the ultimate masterclass of manipulation, media trials, and psychological warfare. We are breaking down Gillian Flynn's iconic masterpiece, Gone Girl. This isn't just a story about a missing woman, it's a terrifying look at how well you truly know the person sleeping right next to you. So, dim the lights, because this story is about to get incredibly dark. Our story revolves around Nick Dunne and his beautiful, brilliant wife, Amy Elliott Dunne. Amy is famous because her parents wrote a popular children's book series based on her childhood, called Amazing Amy. On the morning of their 5th anniversary, Nick returns home to find the front door wide open, the living room furniture shattered, and Amy missing. He immediately calls the police. Detective Rhonda Boney arrives to investigate, and from the very first moment, things look highly suspicious. Nick seems oddly detached, calm, and highly inappropriate for a grieving husband. As the investigation deepens, the police discover that Nick and Amy's marriage was far from perfect. Due to the financial crisis, they had both lost their writing jobs in New York and were forced to move to Nick's small hometown in North Carthage, Missouri, to take care of Nick's dying mother. Amy absolutely hated this move, felt isolated, and deeply resented Nick. To make matters worse, the police discover that Nick has a massive secret. He is having a passionate affair with one of his 21-year-old college students, Andy. Nick is also in deep financial debt, and Amy had recently raised her life insurance policy to a massive amount. The suspense builds through a series of anniversary treasure hunts. Every single year, Amy hid clues for Nick to find his anniversary gifts. This year is no different, but the stakes are deadly. As Nick follows the hidden clues with the police watching his every move, the treasure hunt leads to highly incriminating locations. The final clue leads to his sister Margot's backyard shed, which is stuffed to the brim with expensive luxury items bought on Nick's credit cards. On top of that, the police find Amy's diary, which details how Nick became aggressive, financially abusive, and how she was genuinely terrified that her husband was going to kill her. The media turns fiercely against Nick, branding him as America's most hated man, and he is officially arrested for the murder of his wife. But this is exactly where the ultimate bomb drops, and the entire story flips upside down. We learn that Amy is not dead. She is completely fine, hiding out in a cabin at a distant campground. The entire diary was a complete lie. The chaotic crime scene, the struggle in the living room, the credit card debts, everything was meticulously planned and staged by Amy over the course of a whole year. Why? Because she discovered Nick's affair. Amy is a brilliant, sociopathic mastermind who decided that instead of a messy divorce, she would punish Nick by staging her own murder, framing him, and watching him get executed by the state. She changed her appearance, dyed her hair, and watched the news with ultimate satisfaction as Nick's life crumbled on national television. However, Amy's flawless plan hits a major roadblock. While staying at the campground, her neighbors realize she is carrying a lot of cash, and they rob her of every single penny. Left with no money and no resources, she is forced to change her strategy. Meanwhile, back home, Nick realizes exactly how brilliant and dangerous his wife is. He hires a high-profile celebrity lawyer named Tanner Bolt. Nick goes on a famous national talk show and plays the role of the deeply repentant, loving husband, publicly begging Amy to return. Nick knows Amy's massive ego. He knows she wants the perfect husband who worships her, and he pretends to be exactly that. Seeing Nick's public confession, Amy decides she wants him back, but she needs a way to return without looking like a liar. She contacts her incredibly wealthy, obsessive ex-boyfriend, Desi Collings, and pretends that Nick had kidnapped and abused her, begging Desi to hide her in his heavily guarded lake house. Desi happily takes her in, locking her away for her safety. But to make her final escape back to reality, Amy plays her darkest card yet. She uses Desi's obsession against him, drugs him, binds him to the bed, and brutally slits his throat with a box cutter. Amy returns home to Nick, covered in Desi's blood, pretending she narrowly escaped her kidnapper. The public and the media instantly view her as a heroic survivor, and all charges against Nick are dropped. Nick is completely trapped. He knows his wife is a cold-blooded murderer who killed Desi and almost destroyed his life, but he cannot expose her because the world completely believes Amy's story. When Nick tells Amy in private that he is leaving her, Amy reveals her final trap. She used Nick's frozen sample from a fertility clinic to get pregnant. Bound by the upcoming child and terrified of what Amy might do to him or the baby if he leaves, Nick decides to stay. The book ends on a chilling note, with Nick and Amy trapped in a toxic, terrifying marriage, pretending to be the perfect couple for the media and their future child, while Nick secretly fears for his life every single day. So, who do you think was the real villain here? Was Amy's extreme revenge justified, or is she the most terrifying antagonist in fiction? Drop your thoughts in the comments box. If you loved this deep dive into marital madness, don't forget like, share and subscribe to The Reader's Room.